When the Vraxian Dominion, the most feared military power in 3 galaxies, issues humanity an ultimatum to surrender Earth within 72 hours, they expect terror and submission. Instead, they receive memes, stand-up comedy routines, and a counter-offer to rent billboard space on their warships. What begins as the most humiliating diplomatic exchange in galactic history spirals into an absurd first contact scenario where humans weaponize laughter, sarcasm becomes an art form, and an alien general discovers that conquering a species who refuses to take threats seriously might be the universe's cruelest joke. This is the story of how humanity's greatest defense wasn't their military might, but their absolute inability to read the room. Ambassador Quillnex of the Vraxian Dominion stood aboard the bridge of the Eternal Conquest, staring at the blue marble of Earth through the observation port, wondering if this was the day his career would finally mean something. 23 cycles of service, 47 successful planetary negotiations, and not once had he needed to actually fire a weapon. Species usually folded after seeing the fleet. It was good business, really. Sir, we're receiving a response from the planetary government, Communications Officer Trin announced, her facial tendrils twitching with what he recognized as confusion. Excellent. Display it. The holographic screen flickered to life. Instead of a trembling leader or a formal military representative, Quillnex found himself looking at a middle-aged human woman sitting at what appeared to be a kitchen table. She wore a garment with strange symbols on it that read, "World's Okayest Mum," and was drinking from a steaming container. "Hi there," the human said, waving casually. "I'm Secretary of State Marina Reeves. Got your message about the whole surrender or die thing. Quick question though, is this like a prank call situation? Because Jerry from accounting did something similar last year with fake IRS threats. And honestly, the production value on your ships is way better, so kudos for that." Quillnex felt his secondary heart skip a beat. "This is not a prank, human. I am Ambassador Quillnex of the Vraxian Dominion. We command a fleet of 3,000 warships, each capable of leveling your largest cities. You have 72 hours to surrender your planet unconditionally, or we will demonstrate our resolve." Marina took a sip from her container. 3,000 warships. Wow. That's either really impressive or horrifically inefficient. Have you guys heard of Zoom meetings? Could save a lot on fuel costs. Behind Quillnex, Tactical Commander Vaughn made a choking sound. "Sir, is she mocking us?" "Surrender is not a negotiation," Quillnex continued, trying to maintain his composure. "Your species will be integrated into the Dominion. Resistance will result in complete annihilation." Right, the annihilation bit," Marina said, nodding thoughtfully. "Here's the thing, and I'm just spitballing here, but have you considered that maybe, just maybe, you picked the wrong planet? I mean, we still can't agree on whether pineapple belongs on pizza. You think we're going to collectively surrender to anything? We once had a war over a bucket, an actual bucket. Look it up. The Bucket War. We're not great at this whole cooperation thing." Quillnex pulled up his datapad, searching frantically. The Bucket War was real. 3025, Earth Standard Time. Over 2,000 casualties. About a bucket. "Your internal conflicts are irrelevant," he said, though his confidence was wavering. "You face an external threat now. Surely your survival instinct will prevail." Marina laughed. Actually laughed. "Survival instinct? Buddy, we invented extreme sports. We jump out of perfectly functioning aircraft for fun. We eat peppers that cause physical pain because we like the taste. Last year a guy free-climbed a mountain without ropes because it looked cool. Our survival instinct is more of a survival suggestion that we routinely ignore." "This is absurd," Vaughn muttered. "Sir, perhaps a demonstration is in order." "I'm afraid your threats lack credibility, human," Quillnex said, drawing himself up to his full height. "We have conquered 47 worlds. We have never been refused." "Oh well, there's a first time for everything," Marina replied cheerfully. "Also, and I'm just curious, do you guys do advertising? Because if you're going to hover over Earth with 3,000 ships, that's prime real estate. We've got brands that would pay millions for that kind of visibility. I'm thinking Red Bull, maybe Nike. The swoosh across your flagship, chef's kiss. Quillnex looked at Vaughn. Vaughn looked back at him. Neither of them had protocols for this. You have 72 hours, Quillnex repeated, his voice strained. That is final. Cool, cool. We'll get back to you, Marina said. Oh, quick thing though. Your universal translator is working, right? Because we're about to send over our official response, and I want to make sure you get the full nuance. The transmission ended. Quillnex stood in silence for a long moment. What just happened? Trin asked quietly. Before Quillnex could answer, his console beeped. The official response from Earth had arrived. He opened it with trepidation. It was a single image. A human in sunglasses, giving 2 thumbs up, with text overlaid. New phone who dis. What does this mean? Vaughn demanded, leaning over his shoulder. Is this a military code? Quillnex had no answer. He scrolled further. More images. Humans with exaggerated expressions. Text that made no contextual sense. Poe, you're about to learn why healthcare is expensive. Another one. 3,000 ships, and you still can't get a text back. Sir, what are these? Trin asked. I believe, Quillnex said slowly. They are called memes. Over the next hour, Earth's response evolved from confusing to actively insulting. News channels broadcast late-night comedians dissecting the invasion threat. One particularly popular human named Derek Lansing spent 15 minutes explaining why the Raxian ships looked like angry space staplers with self-esteem issues. Social media platforms erupted. Humans began rating the fleet's aesthetic design. 3 out of 10 stars. Lacks originality. Derivative at classic sci-fi. Would not invade again. Then came the merchandise. Within hours, humans were selling t-shirts with Vraxian ship designs and phrases like, I survived the 72-hour invasion threat, and all I got was this lousy shirt, and Vraxians, 3,000 ships, 0 game. Quillnex watched it all unfold with growing horror. This was not how invasions worked. Species were supposed to panic. Riots, martial law, desperate last stands. Not this, sir. We're receiving another transmission, Trin announced. From someone called, Stand Up Satellite. Put it through, Quillnex said numbly. A human appeared on screen, standing in front of a crowd of other humans. They were all laughing. So I heard aliens are threatening to blow us up, the human said into a handheld device. Finally. I've been waiting for someone to put me out of my misery since I saw my student loan balance. The crowd roared with laughter. 72 hours to surrender. Do they know how long it takes us to decide where to eat dinner? We'll still be arguing about who speaks for Earth when they start shooting. More laughter. Quillnex felt something crack inside his professional demeanor. This is psychological warfare, Vaughn said, but he sounded uncertain. It has to be. Sir, Trin interrupted. We're being tagged in something called Twitter. Thousands of messages. They're asking if we accept coupons. If our ships run on diesel, if we've tried turning Earth off and back on again. Quillnex sat down heavily in his command chair. 47 worlds. 47 times, species had trembled before Vraxian might. And now, humans were asking if his fleet had extended warranties. His console beeped again. Another message from Marina Reeves. Just checking in. Hour 2 of 72. Someone made a countdown website. It's got music and everything. Also, we workshopped some alternative suggestions instead of surrender. Number 1. Rock, paper, scissors tournament. Best out of 3 galaxies. Number 2. Bake-off competition. Number 3. You leave and we promise to think really hard about what we did wrong. Let us know. Quillnex closed his eyes. In all his cycles of service, across dozens of worlds, he had never encountered a species quite like this. They weren't just unafraid, they were enjoying themselves. And the worst part, the absolute worst part, was that they had 70 hours left to get even more creative. By hour 18, Quillnex had developed a facial tic that Medical Officer Preller said was psychosomatic. He disagreed. This was very, very real. Earth had turned the invasion into a global event. Literally. There were viewing parties, themed cocktails, something called an invasion bingo card where humans marked off squares for predicted alien behaviors. Demands unconditional surrender had been the free space in the center. Sir, their stock markets are up, Vaughn reported, sounding like he was narrating his own death. They're profiting from this. How is that possible? Defense contractors, entertainment companies, and something called meme coin cryptocurrency. There's now a Vraxian token trading at $2 per unit. Quillnex pulled up the data. Humans had created a digital currency based on his fleet. The logo was his flagship, with cartoon eyes and a frowning expression. The slogan, "To the moon or surrender trying." "They're selling our image," he said flatly, "without permission." "Should we issue a copyright claim?" Trin asked. The bridge fell silent. They'd reached a new level of absurdity. Another transmission arrived. This time from someone identified as Dr. Felix Park, scientific advisor to the UN. "Hey Quillnex, right?" Felix said, looking remarkably relaxed for someone facing extinction. "Quick science question. Your ships are using quantum displacement drives, yeah? We picked up the signature. Thing is, your exhaust output is creating minor disruptions in our satellite networks. Nothing major, but could you maybe shift your formation like 300 kilometers north? Would really help with our GPS. You want us to move our invasion fleet," Quillnex said slowly, "for your convenience. If it's not too much trouble. Oh, also, we've got some astronomers who want to study your hull composition. Any chance we could get a few ships to do a slow rotation for science?" Quillnex terminated the transmission without responding. "This is a test," Vaughn declared. "They're testing our resolve. We should fire a warning shot. Vaporize something unpopulated. An island, perhaps. That will show them we're serious." "No," Quillnex said, surprising himself. "That's what they want." "Want? They want us to attack them? Think about it. If we attack, they get to claim victim status. The entire galaxy will see footage of us destroying an island. But if we just hover here while they mock us, we look incompetent without them lifting a weapon." Trin's tendrils drooped. "So we're being strategically humiliated." "Not strategically," Quillnex corrected. "I don't think they have a strategy. I think they're just like this." Hour 30 brought a development that made Quillnex question his life choices. Earth's governments had formally responded to the surrender demand with a counter-proposal, a talent show. "They want us to compete in a talent show," Quillnex read aloud from the official diplomatic document. "Earth's best performers against ours. Winner takes the planet." "That's not how warfare works," Vaughn protested. "They've included sample videos of their performers," Trin added helpfully. "Someone named Kai Storm who apparently does something called beatboxing, and a woman named Zara Vex who can sing 4 octaves. Against his better judgment, Quillnex watched the videos. The humans were admittedly talented. Kai Storm created complex rhythmic patterns using only his mouth. It was bizarre and impressive in equal measure. "This is still ridiculous," he muttered. "Sir, there's more," Trin said. "They're offering to host the event in something called Madison Square Garden. They'll provide catering." "We're not doing a talent show," Quillnex roared, finally losing his composure. "We're the Vraxian Dominion. We have 3,000 warships. We don't audition for planets." "Respectfully, sir," Trin said quietly. "What do we do? We have 42 hours remaining. They're not taking us seriously. They're not panicking. They're treating this like entertainment." Quillnex had no answer. He'd studied warfare, diplomacy, and negotiation tactics for his entire adult life. None of it had prepared him for a species that responded to existential threats with jokes and merchandising opportunities. Hour 45 brought the musicians. Earth's radio transmissions suddenly shifted. Every station simultaneously began playing the same song. Not a national anthem or war cry. Something called "Never Gonna Give You Up" by an artist named Rick Astley. "What is this?" Vaughn demanded. "Is this a war song?" "I believe," Quillnex said, pulling up Earth's internet archives with growing dread. "We've just been rickrolled." "What does that mean?" "It's a prank. A cultural prank. They've tricked us into listening to this song. It's apparently considered humorous." The song continued. 8 minutes. 15. 30. It wasn't stopping. Make it stop, Vaughn said. I can't. It's on all frequencies. By hour 50, Quilnex's crew was exhausted, confused, and beginning to question the fundamental nature of reality. Earth had launched a satellite playing the Rickroll song on loop specifically aimed at the fleet. They'd named it the Surrender This Satellite. Marina Reeves appeared for another check-in. She was eating something from a small bag. 22 hours left, she said cheerfully. How are you guys holding up? You look tired. Have you considered just, leaving? No hard feelings. We'll even throw in some parting gifts. Probably t-shirts. Maybe a nice fruit basket. You mock us, Quilnex said, his voice hoarse. You face annihilation, and you mock us. Buddy, we mock ourselves, Marina replied. You're not special. Last week our Congress spent 4 hours arguing about whether pizza is a vegetable. This is just Tuesday for us. We could destroy you, Quilnex said, but even he heard how weak it sounded. Could you, though? Marina leaned forward. Like, really? Because here's what I'm thinking. You show up, you threaten us. You expect us to fold. Standard playbook. But what happens if you actually attack? You become the bad guys. The whole galaxy watches you blow up a species that responded to your threats with comedy routines and talent show offers. How does that look for your reputation? Quilnex said nothing. She was right. Horrifyingly, infuriatingly right. Plus, Marina continued, and I'm just spitballing here, but you've been hovering over Earth for 50 hours now. That's a lot of fuel, a lot of resources, a lot of crew getting tired and wondering why they're parked over a planet that's currently streaming memes about them. At what point does this become expensive and embarrassing? This is extortion, Quilnex said weakly. No, this is reality. You picked a fight with a species that argues in YouTube comment sections for fun. We're professionally difficult. It's our thing. The transmission ended. Quilnex sat in silence. Sir, orders? Vaughn asked. Quilnex looked at his tactical display. 3,000 ships. The most powerful fleet in 3 galaxies, hovering over a planet that had just launched a betting pool on when they'd leave, with odds currently favoring 17 hours from now after they realize humans are exhausting. He thought about the 47 other worlds he'd negotiated with, the fear in their leaders' eyes, the desperate attempts at bargaining, the inevitable surrender. And then he thought about Marina Reeves drinking coffee in her kitchen, asking about billboard space. Prepare the fleet for departure, Quilnex said quietly. Sir? Vaughn looked shocked. We're leaving. Immediate withdrawal. But the deadline hasn't. Now, Commander. The bridge erupted into controlled chaos. Ships began powering up their drives. Navigation plotted exit vectors. Quilnex's console beeped one final time. A message from Earth. He opened it. It was a certificate. Raxian Dominion participant in Earth's first contact experience. Thanks for playing. Signed by Marina Reeves with a small heart drawn next to her name. Below it, another image. Humans waving goodbye. Text overlay: thanks for visiting Earth. Please rate your invasion experience. 5 stars means you'll come back. As the Eternal Conquest pulled away from Earth's orbit, Quilnex watched the blue planet shrink in the distance. Somewhere down there, humans were probably already making memes about their departure. Probably selling I Scared Away Aliens merchandise. Probably planning viewing parties for when the fleet disappeared from their telescopes. Sir, shall I note this in our records as a successful negotiation? Tren asked carefully. Note it as a learning experience, Quilnex said, and add Earth to the do not engage list with a priority red flag. What reason should I give? Quilnex thought for a moment. Tactical disadvantage. Species demonstrates advanced psychological warfare capabilities and immunity to conventional intimidation tactics. Sir, should I also note that they're extremely annoying? That's implied, Trin. That's very much implied. As the fleet jumped into hyperspace, one final transmission reached them from Earth. Not official, not military, just a single human voice. Recorded and broadcast with enough power to reach their departing ships. Hey Quilnex. If you're ever in the neighborhood again, look us up. We've got Netflix and chill. In his quarters later, Quillnex would update the Dominion's intelligence files on Earth. Technological level, moderate. Military capability, uncertain. Threat assessment, catastrophic, but not in any conventional sense. In the notes section, he would write only 4 words. They laughed at us. And somewhere on Earth, Marina Reeves would pour another coffee, update her social media with Alien 0 Earth 1, and wonder what humanity would do for an encore when the next species came calling. Probably something equally ridiculous. It was, after all, what humans did best.